as you can see, we are back. If you ain't know what it was, this is the unknown unknowns laboratory. You know what I'm saying? Fucking shit up in GTA. I mean, we're not really
Diamond
doing none of that.
casinos, son.
Yeah, we're not really fucking anything up. But anyway, shout out to the Diamond Casino. It's lit. I had to get this little scenery together. You know what I'm saying? It's looking real sexy. Some of y'all, anybody who watched season 1 of the Unknown Unknowns Laboratory, then you would know. I actually used one of these backgrounds in a couple of our episodes. But anyway, it's your girl, ShadyakaCartier, and it's your boy, you already know.
John Mobius out here.
#1 co-pilot on this side of the motherfucking equator. And yeah, we just cooling, man. We just cooling. Watching people fake drink, looking at Shorty looking goofy as hell. I don't even know why they're here. And she looks slightly twisted. You see the two white people on the right? She look like she talking
They
to
vibing.
herself. She moving a little weird. Then the dude is
They
like,
vibing. They vibing.
yeah, anyway. You know what it is. So we in here at the Diamond Club, you know, with my grown ass man looking character. I'm very upset about that, but we know that's not what it's
We
about.
gonna fix that. We gonna fix that.
Yeah, never. Eventually. One year.
Eventually.
Yeah, whatever.
I might come
So,
over there tomorrow so I can fix it.
alright, that would be very cool. That blade on your arm, the tattoo is looking real
Stabby
nifty.
stabs.
Stabbity stabs. Oh, okay. That's what you're doing. Okay.
It's Spooktober now, you know. I gotta represent. You know we grew up watching that movie. I don't want to hear it. Don't look at me like that.
I'm like, what movie? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Halloween? What are you talking
Stabbity
about?
stabs.
Everybody was getting stabbed up in all of the Halloween movies.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Scream. Anyway.
I mean, that one too.
I'm
You
like,
had a
that's
butcher
the
knife though.
stabbity stab that I remember. And they was just goofy because they was stabbing each other up.
What's Stab.
Wow. Yes.
Anyway, alright, alright.
Yes.
So, welcome to the Unknown Labs. We out here. Make sure you follow us on IG.
You know it.
Make sure you subscribe, drop a comment, all that fun stuff. We got some game noobs for you.
Yeah, man. But hold up. It's episode number 9 for the season 2. So shout out,
Yeah,
man.
we out on season 2, boys.
Yeah, October episode, season 2, episode number 9, you know what I'm saying? And so we're gonna get into this current events. Then we're gonna get into, oh, you want to do gaming news. We're gonna do gaming news. Then we're gonna get into 2 weird current events. And then we're gonna get into the whole purpose and the point, you know, the education. The education part of this.
You're gonna get your learning in, son.
Class, you already know what it is if you've been here before. Class, get your pens and your papers. But anyway, let's chill first. What you got for us, Mobius?
All right. So, pro tip: if you flick your thumbstick, you can change your pose. So you gotta vibe on them real quick. But anyway, so I got invited to the Halo beta. I've since played since we were plotting this episode out, and it is a thing. It's not Halo 3, not Reach, but it ain't 4 or 5, which is, it works for me. I like it. It's free still, so I wish I could have got some more game time on it. I think I only played like 2 matches. I'm not a fan of the way the vehicle balance is right now, but it's playable, and it's going to be live service, so patches and buffs and debuffs and all that stuff. We'll see it all. Halo Infinite is coming at us. It had been delayed a couple times. There's always a chance it might get delayed again, but it is a free game, so the multiplayer is free. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what it's got. But late September, Insurgency Sandstorm finally came to consoles after 3 years of talks and
Wow.
delays and figuring their lives out. It's finally on console, and it exploded in popularity.
Why is it
The
only
company
$40?
New World 40 because it came out 3 years ago.
What, Insurgency Sandstorm?
Yeah, it came out. It was a PC game.
Oh, okay, okay. And I'm like, why is it
Yeah,
so cheap?
they'd
Okay.
planned it to come out on
Oh,
consoles,
initial release
but
December 12th, 2018.
yeah.
Now it's finally on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox X,
hmm
and Series S. Okay. Wait.
Which, not counting COVID and stuff, it's just a lot. It makes sense, you know. Like at the time, the new consoles weren't out yet, so they're making the multiplayer for the previous gen, the P4 and Xbox One, and the pros or whatever. And then the new consoles dropped, so they had to go back to the drawing board to then make it work for the new game, the new systems, and all the information that requires and stuff. And then, check making it sure with Xbox Live and PlayStation and all that stuff like that. And then just kind of get stuff to work. And so now, and then COVID hit, so people were not coming to work. People were just kind of going back to the drawing board and stuff. So 3 years later, it's finally here, and the game, I won't say it died on PC, but it was in a pretty bad state. Player count and all that stuff. There's so many other games that are like it. Some are better, some are worse. That people are just like, okay, this game's cool, yeah, and then they move on to something else. Whereas console players are a bit more frugal with their money. They're like, look, if I buy this game, I want to play it for a while.
Forever.
And so three years of waiting for it made a lot of people who would have picked it up and put it back down. Now they have the time to. Well, I mean, in between the Halo and Battlefield release, which I think was kind of a tight window, but people are still gonna play. People who are dedicated will still play that. People who are dedicated will still play Halo, and so on and so forth. So it's got a nice little release window, and it got a huge player count buff from finally coming to consoles and stuff. And there's a lot. It's the game to talk about right now, you know. So in addition to Halo and Battlefield, so it's out. Get your hands on it. It's only $40. Um,
On PlayStation 4.
there are some. It's done very well to translate all the controls from PC to controller. It's not just press this button to shoot, press that button to run. It's definitely a lot more involved, but it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe an hour. You'll have it kind of down pack. It's still a shooter at basics. So it works. So Insurgency and Storm, get it on your console of choice. What else?
Back to that shady news, baby.
Are we getting a drink? What's happening?
Nope. I'm just asking.
Hmm.
Back to the
You
shady ass
disappoint
news.
me.
Activision. You want to talk about that, or you want to get into that?
So Activision Blizzard is is in the middle of dealing with many people leaving their company, many people quitting, and the feds are on that ass, man. Um,
Yeah.
uh, when they were first placed under investigation for, it was like sexual assault cases and abuse and just workplace shenanigans. They had, of course, tried, they did their legal stuff, which is fine, whatever. But then they started sending out, I won't say memos, but they started pressuring the people who work for those companies to not talk to the investigators and stuff. And then, when that wasn't really working, they went so far as to destroy or manipulate evidence that would slow down their investigation. And so now, the feds want a piece. The Securities and Exchange Commissions, the SEC, They want a piece of them, and then any of the local agencies that would have lawsuits pending against those companies want a
Yep.
piece. Like, it's
Yep. So let me
crazy.
get into that. So shout out to Forbes magazine for this one. This came out
Forbes.
June 11th of this year, but this is definitely some information I wasn't aware of. I know we did some previous reporting about some gaming companies and some scandalous shit that was going on overseas, but this is right in our West Coast backyard. The California Department of Fair Employment and Housing has been doing an investigation for the last 2 years, which has resulted in a lawsuit that is moving forward against Activision Blizzard for what is deemed frat boy culture. So
Mm.
it's so funny. The article said content warning. I'm about to get into some details about this shady shit. But first, I gotta get this duck and put him in a cage because he is acting unruly. So
Ducky, ducky.
I'll be
Duck Dynasty. While she's doing that, let me see. Yeah, we are here at the labs, chilling at the Diamond Casino in Los Santos. We got the duck hanging out.
in the back shaking booty. All right. So ain't nothing to it but to do it. But
Is
man,
a song by Larry Graham Central Station.
ain't nothing to it but to do it. Wow.
Not quite that, but it's close enough. It's close enough to make a reference.
Yeah, Mobius always trying to make a
Got
reference.
it's got to get through it to get to it, or something like that. I don't know. It's a funky song. Leave me
Anyways,
alone.
so yeah, content warning. This is some of the types of allegations in the lawsuit. Workplace issues. Women constantly deny promotion, raises, or even equal pay despite overperforming their male counterparts. Male employees frequently neglecting work and delegating assignments to women in favor of playing video games, which I have not seen firsthand, but heard firsthand by a roommate that I had several years ago. She said her coworkers was bringing in their PlayStation and playing video games in the office. And then when their work wasn't getting done on time, because she didn't play video games, when they offered it to her, they had her do the work. Not very cool. Male employees refusing to communicate with women, asking their male counterparts for information instead. Women of color being criticized for their body, language, asking for assistance, taking breaks, and being forced to document days spent off from work when those criticisms and requests were not made of anyone else. Oh, you mean because I'm brown, I can't take a cigarette break, but y'all is taking like 20 cigarette breaks a day. That's one thing I experienced, though. There's one thing I single-handedly experienced. One of the first jobs that I ever had growing up, the employees, I noticed that apparently if you smoke cigarettes that you get to take more breaks than everybody else, because your regular break is like a 20-minute break. Right after like rush hour or something. I mean, your regular break is like a 30-minute break, like your lunch break or whatever. But whenever it was slow or right after like a whole bunch of people just came in and it finally slowed down, they would let employees take a 5-minute, 10-minute smoke break.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hold on, I don't smoke cigarettes. Like, whatever. So I took my little Black and Mild, dumped out the tobacco, stuffed some weed in it, hit it like once or twice. Like, I started going outside and taking breaks too, because I was like, this shit ain't right. Like, fuck that shit. Anyway, breastfeeding women. This is what I thought was ridiculous. Breastfeeding women being kicked out of lactation rooms so meetings could be held there instead. To me, I really didn't think that they, like in this situation, because of everything else that they're talking about that's obviously going on at Activation Blizzard, I really feel like they didn't need the lactation rooms for meetings. But just the ability to walk into a room with a bunch of women with their titty partially out, I think that's what that was about. Like, let's see if we can run down on them. Like, we don't respect them. We don't fuck with them for real. Let's go see if we can see a titty. And fuck it. Let's just take their space anyway. So then they got to breastfeed somewhere else. And hell, then we might actually get to see a titty. Like, to me, that's what it sounds like it was about. Sexual harassment. Documentation of a cube crawl. Now, I never heard of that before, so let's get into that. Where male employees drink copious amounts of alcohol and harass and grope female coworkers. Male employees publicly...
It's basically a bar crawl, but just,
cube
at work,
crawl,
which
right,
is
because
just
you
all
at work.
kinds of wrong.
Because you at work, right? And I was like, when we first read about this, I was like, what is this, admin? Like, I fuck with that show, but like, that's what I didn't like. It was the sexist shit I really couldn't get with. But I know, like, that show was, it was about a time period. It was about the 1960s. It was about the reality of how things used to be. The fact that it's still going on, absolutely unacceptable. Male employees publicly discussing sexual encounters, speaking openly about female bodies, and joking about rape. Now, come on. It's one thing if you talking to your other male colleague about the bad shorty that you took out last night. But getting into sex, like explicitly sexual details, is unnecessary. And making jokes about rape is disgusting, bro. Disgusting. Like, I be trying to be on males' sides because guess what? Like, I grew up, I guess, as a tomboy. I had more male friends than female friends. Like, I get it. You can't necessarily be so sensitive when you're around a group of males because at the end of the day, it's your choice to be around them. Like, I understand that, and I have the ability to keep it real about that information. It was your choice to be around these people in the first place. So you can't blame nobody else about how you feel in this situation. But when it comes to work, that's something different, bro. That's something completely different. You shouldn't have to be exposed to things like that. And lastly, or not lastly, but female employees discouraged from taking harassment issues to HR, given that members of HR were close to the harassers in question. And I think whoever we reported on earlier this year, those was kind of like the same issues that was going on. It was like, don't say
Ubisoft.
nothing to somebody.
Ubisoft.
Yeah, it was like, don't say nothing to somebody higher up because they big bros with them. They not going to listen. Like, you already know. Like, your opinion means basically nothing. And so, more information. So this is what Mobius actually brought up that got us into this article from July 22nd. This is the part that I didn't hear about, I didn't know about, I wasn't aware of, and this is brand new news to me. And so even though it may be old, this is not cool. So again, I mean, look, Forbes putting in a content warning, but you already know when you in the unknown laboratory, we be getting real and we be getting raw and then we getting a little loose sometimes. So listen, at Activation Blizzard, a female employee died by suicide on a company trip. The lawsuit alleges this was due to a sexual relationship she had been having with her male supervisor, who was found by police to have brought sex toys to a work trip. Additionally, it was cited the female employee had previously faced intense sexual harassment at work, including an incident where a photo of her genitals were passed around by male employees at a holiday party. Bruh. Bruh. Straight from Forbes. This is straight from Forbes. I'm reading it word for word. The outcry online to the contents of this lawsuit has been loud and forceful, even in an industry where discrimination and sexism is all too common. And oh yeah, like Mobius said, Ubisoft, another large publisher, accused of widespread misconduct. Because we were talking about them. They got problems over in the UK, France, wherever the hell, all over the world. Ubisoft locations. They getting in trouble for the same shit. It's like, bro, like you can't be a girl gamer. You can't be a female and work for a game company. It's like there's absolutely no respect, bro. It's absolutely no respect. And so I looked up Activision Blizzard, went on their website, and they got like a code of conduct, and it's like an informational page for shareholders, I guess, because it's code of conduct /shareholders.html. And so I just kind of scrolled through it a little bit and was like, y'all full of shit. Y'all don't follow these rules. Y'all don't believe in what y'all saying for real. And at the very bottom, it says anti-corruption business without bribery. I guess y'all not giving out bribes because y'all are just deterring the females from reporting the shit. Y'all deterring the women in the office from speaking up and even feeling comfortable or safe to speak up about the things that's going on that ain't got no business going on there. And so that shit weak as shit, bro. Like, I don't fuck with that shit. Back to what Mobius brought up earlier, the SEC, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, is looking into, or let me shout out to the Wall Street Journal. Let's see. SEC is investigating Activision Blizzard over workplace practices and disclosures. So at first I was like, what does the SEC got to do with anything, right? Well, apparently, okay, apparently, I'm gonna read a little bit of the article.
Apparently.
I'm gonna read a little bit of the article. Federal security regulators have launched a wide range investigation into Activision Blizzard, including how the video game publishing giant handled employees' allegations of sexual misconduct and workplace discrimination, according to people familiar with the investigation and the documents, the type of stuff we were just talking about. The Securities and Exchange Commission has subpoenaed Activision, known for Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Candy Crush franchises. I didn't know they own that too. And several of its senior executives, including longtime chief executive Bobby Kotick, according to the people and the documents. Come on now. If you in charge, you responsible. The fish rot down from the head. Come on, the body rot from the head, buddy. Anyway, the agency is asking for documents including the minutes from Activision's board meetings since 2019. I'm all up in your business, the SEC is, okay? Personnel files of 6 former employees and separation agreements to the company has reached this year with staffers' records shown. I love it. All up in your business. Maybe you will stop doing what you're doing. The SEC is asking for Mr. Kotick's communication with other senior executives regarding complaints of sexual harassment or discrimination by Activision employees or contractors, and I get that, right? Because if all of these women are saying, I've been going through this, I've been going through that, I know some of them tried to come forward and say this is what's going on. I know somebody tried to speak up and has spoken up. Yeah. And they probably, they're going to call it a separation agreement. They ass probably got fired. For real.
Likely.
Or
but here's the kicker, so as I was saying earlier, both those companies have been actively destroying or tampering with evidence to try to slow down their the investigation. So now it becomes a he said, she said game, but there's a lot more women saying, yeah, this shit's fucked up, and this actually happened, than, a bunch of people at the top saying, oh, we're professional and everything's fine, blah, blah, blah. It's Me Too 2.0.
Oh, definitely. Well, that's what by destroying the evidence, they try. That's what they trying to make it look like. Because I feel like when somebody talk about the Me Too movement, to me, just saying Me Too means that it was a bandwagon effect. One person said, now everybody else saying it too. And so I have negative connotations when somebody says Me Too movement, not even necessarily knowing like where they're coming from, whether they believe the movement was valid and legitimate or not. I just have negative connotations because it, like I said, it sounds like it's a bandwagon effect. And so if they really do get rid of the necessary evidence to prove that there's any fault on their end, that's really what it's going to look like. And so, anyway, the SEC is requesting information to discern whether Activision and its executives properly disclosed allegations of workplace harassment and gender pay issues, and whether any of the information should have been shared earlier with the investors and other parties, according to the documents and the people familiar with the investigation. So to me, that's what the SEC really has to do with it. Because at the end of the day, you would be kind of retarded to think that there are no women investors. Okay? Women are gamers too. Women are millionaires and billionaires too. And so let's keep it real. If I had a couple million or billion to invest in something that I liked and I put my money into, cause I mean that's the number one thing they say when you messing with the stock market. Find something for beginners anyway. Find something that you spend your money on, that you invest in personally, that you believe in personally, is successful and will continue to be successful because you are a supporter of it, a natural supporter of it. Come on. I will put my money in there. Hell, I want to start my own gaming company and get signed by, you know what I'm saying, by Activision, Blizzard, or Ubisoft. Come on, yeah. But now with this shit going on, nah. And then you already know. There's always a good woman standing behind a strong, rich man. And so shit, honey, you said you invested how much in them this year? Oh, nah. We could put that money somewhere else. Like, I'm not standing behind it as an investor. Like, and that's another thing. It's ever since I start investing in certain companies, I get emails like once a year or twice a year to vote on issues that's going on inside the companies. So, I mean, I don't believe I'm invested in Activision or Ubisoft, but if I was, and it came time for me to vote, oh, you damn sure best believe I'm voting to replace everybody in that jump. Everybody. Because something ain't right. So, that's all we got to say about that.
It's crazy.
Go ahead.
They had 2, 3 years ago. They had Bobby Kotick, the CEO. You know, he had laid off a bunch of people, despite Activision having almost like record-breaking levels of sales for, I think it was for Call of Duty 2019 or something. They made a hell of a lot of money, and that money was supposed to get distributed against, you know, the project managers, the Christmas bonus funds and all that stuff, you know, how it works for companies. And instead they laid off a bunch of people, you know, across different departments, across, you know, Activision. They laid off a bunch of people, wow. And then the rest of the money went to the executive heads.
Pocket, baby. It's like if we make this amount of
and normally investors don't really get involved with that, but that it happens, and it happens so often. And at this point, Activision is personally competing with EA as the shittiest company in gaming right now, and because of that, investors were like, you know what? No, you need to chill.
Like, they all scandalous, they wild as shit. Like, bro, if I give you a $500,000 bonus and I say you keep a quarter and the rest of it you gotta distribute between the teams that created this game, and then you lay off everybody who own the game, like, that shit crazy.
And then keep that quarter.
That shit crazy, bro. Oh, they don't work here. I couldn't have gave it to them because
Their
they don't
project's
work here no
complete,
more.
so
Right.
we decided to let them go
We're done with them. We're done with it.
until the next game.
Anyway. Anything else you want to say to wrap up gaming news, or we getting in straight into the weird shit?
Nah, we can get into it.
All right, part of me wanted to call this Six Sad World Part 2, but anyway. I've been meaning to talk about this for a long ass time. I found out about this YouTuber, So Young. I was pretty disgusted. I mean, I can't talk about nobody's culture. You know what I'm saying? If you familiar with So Young, then you already know what I'm talking about. But apparently, So Young is a YouTuber that likes to do mukbangs where she eats live animals and she acts like she's afraid of the animal, she's nervous about the animal, she don't know what the animal's gonna do next. She acts surprised and all of this extra dumb, stupid looking shit. But at the end of the day, like, it's just a fucking act. And it's just for views and it's just for clicks. And again, you know, I'm not from East Asian food culture, right? So this is not normal to me, and it's definitely not okay. I feel like it's unlawful, of course, in the U.S. probably. But more than anything, I feel like this is legit animal cruelty, bro. Legit animal cruelty. To slice this animal up while they're alive. We not talking about slicing them up to kill them. Like, there's even a humane way, a supposedly humane way, the way we kill livestock and the way we kill animals before we are to prepare them to eat. There's a way that we supposed to do it. The least painful way. So they could die as fast as possible. So there is the least amount of suffering for that animal. You gotta be respectful. That's some Native American shit. You gotta respect what you take from the land and what you take from the earth.
And don't waste anything.
Yeah, and I don't
use
see
it all.
Yeah, and I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening a lot of the time as Americans. We are extremely wasteful. And, so, I just came across that a buck ago, and I ain't had nowhere to put it in none of our episodes, but I just wanted to let that shit go so I could get it off my tab. I just, I'm not with it, and I don't think it's okay. And so, it's a lot of
She's not American,
shit.
Right?
Nah. She's Asian.
Asian.
And, that's a part of the East Asian culture, so. Whatever, as long as you doing that shit over here, don't come to California and start shooting YouTube videos and doing that shit and thinking it's lit. I'm not with
No, because she'd promptly be arrested for that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, motherfucker, actually come do it. Matter of fact, I changed my mind. By the way, y'all, I don't smoke jacks. I'm not with smoking jacks. I'm just trying not to go idle and get kicked out this stupid game. It actually won't let me change my poses because of where I was sitting at. But come on, Mobius, man. This is a stressful subject. We're gonna go to the bar. I'm gonna take like 2 shots, and then we're gonna get into some bullshit. We're gonna get into some bullshit. I gotta take the 2 shots, not the piss wasser. We already know what that is. If you seen what is it? Is it Dusk Till Dawn? No, it's not Dusk Till Dawn. It's Desperado. Yeah, Desperado. When they was at that bar, and the Americans ordered the beer. 2 cervezas? Yeah, right. And she was like, and your beer tastes like piss. And he was like, I know, because we piss in it. They ain't shit for that, bruh. They ain't shit for that, bruh. Like, that shit ain't no good.
Damn.
He literally told her because we pissed in it, bro. Like, yeah. That shit was no good. And then when Tarantino, the director, came in there, he knew the code to tell them so they could get the real bill, whatever.
Who's emotionally unavailable
No piss beer for us. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So
Vodka.
let me sit down while
Be Russian.
Moby is taking shots. Let's watch Moby is taking shots. Moby, yeah. Moby, yeah. Moby, yeah. Getting twisted in the spot. Moby, yeah. Moby, yeah. Oh, this remind me of a story from last night. Before I get into the wild ass next topic. The story from last night, I watched this joint with the military dude was a bartender. You know, obviously he old as fuck at this point, right? And there's some real young bucks, little military guys coming in.
Oh yeah.
You seen that shit? Coming in with their
Yeah, that's
military
old.
ID, but they was just mad young. And he was on like, your ID's fake as shit. Took the boy ID. Oh, it's peeling off. Bent that shit up. And fucking threw that shit in the trash. And they had to call the cops. Like, that's mad disrespectful. That was mad disrespectful. I did not appreciate that. Damn, you so far away. Can you get any closer?
He lost his liquor license or whatever.
Bruh, whole time though, he was in a band that performed at that bar. I don't even know if he worked there for real. He wasn't like the owner of the bar.
No, I mean, you know, if the bartender goes, hey, let me see you, you know, because you gotta show your ID to drink. So if he's like, no, I'm not convinced, then you know, okay, fine. But the issue is that he thought they looked really young.
No, I know, but he also took a government ID and he bent it up.
And destroyed it. Yeah, so that was super illegal. But no, I'm saying like, you know, so he thought it was fake or whatever.
I mean, at least I heard like they could really take your ID. I don't know about like destroying it, like bending it up how he did. That was pretty disrespectful. But like, bruh, you already know that the military recruits are 18 years old. You could literally be 17 yesterday, turn 18 today, and they will take your ass in. So that shit is sick. You can't say that person ain't been to war, that person ain't been through no shit. And I get it, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's only 3 years, bro. I mean, 19, 20, yeah, I can count. It's only 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. So anyway, that was ridiculous. It just reminded me what you being at the bar, that junk. Anyway, so let's get into the sick shit. We all souped up. I don't see my screen changing. We should have been on the little yachty so we could smoke out the bong. Then my shit would have been all hazy.
We were there last time.
I know. So anyway, I've been wanting to bring this up in the last 2 episodes, but you know, it was like we might as well wait till the verdict happened. And so, come on. I wanna piss on your food. Yeah, you already know if you like Dave Chappelle. You already know who he was making fun of. R. Kelly, man. R. Kelly has been found guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking, which I thought was kind of odd because on July 2019, he was arrested on federal charges for sex crimes, human trafficking, child pornography, racketeering, and obstruction of justice. And so apparently he only got charged with, you know, racketeering and sex trafficking. A violation of the Mann Act very specifically, which is taking women across state lines just, you know, for sexual exploitation or prostitution. And even though these women did not get paid shit, he did have these women who were allegedly his girlfriends or the women that he was kidnapping and wasn't allowing to get away whenever they wanted to. Yeah, he had them have sex with other people who came and testified as well. Not just have sex with other women, but with other men while he watched and then wanted to have a gangbang. Even though they thought that he was their boyfriend and that he would be the only person sexually using and abusing them. Apparently that wasn't the mother flipping case. He wanted to do the mother flipping most. So anyway, a lot of evidence came out. The only thing I wanted to talk about was, well, just a few things, right? So today what I've heard is that since he's been charged with over, well, I think it was like When I heard about it, they said he got over 100 years for all the different, I guess, for the racketeering and the sex trafficking. Like if you just add all the charges up for what that's supposed to be. But that's just what I've been hearing in the videos that I've seen. So I don't know very specifically like how long. I know they did say life in prison. But I thought like 20 or 25 years was a life sentence. And I guess it depends on what state. This trial did happen in New York. So anyway, 10 years to life in prison is what he's been given. One of the things I heard today in October, because he was, the verdict came out on September 27th. I heard that in order to get his time down, now he wants to throw some other people under the bus. Oh yeah, I know some people. I know some celebrities who was messing with kids. Let's get them too.
Epstein too.
Right. I need to knock this sentence down. If y'all gonna lock me up for real, I'm ready to snitch. And so first of all, y'all already know I'm not with the snitching, but one of the things I really hate about the government is if you have some more information about somebody else and you give me that, and then we gonna let you go. One thing I do know for sure that a lot of people, well, not like I know for sure, but another thing that they talk about is a lot of people didn't want to testify in this trial. And so I can only guess that them being aware of what he was doing and then testifying about what they know, they had to take some type of plea deal or ask for immunity or something for them to testify and not get any charges themselves for knowing, being aware, for helping him execute some of these actions. But I do not find it strange at all that he may have dirt on other celebrities, because there's a lot of celebrities that supported him. I don't know if they still openly support R. Kelly. And I mean openly because they could probably still support him now, especially if they pedophiles too. They with the shit. But of course I can't make that publicly known. Then they might think I'm on your same team too. So anyway, I didn't find that new or surprising. One more thing I wanted to talk about, they were saying on the last day of court before they let the jury, get together and do the thing that they do, have their little powwow. On one of the last days of court, they played a video. Now, one thing about the whole... Yeah. One thing about the whole COVID situation and... I don't know if he tried to do the right to a speedy trial situation, because this court case went on for I think it may have started in August. So it definitely went on all September long, if not part of August as well, because there was over 40 people that testified or some shit like that. And so, I only heard about them playing a video once or twice. And I mean, it's just pretty disgusting. On the last day, the video I watched, they went into significant detail about the video. So the way they had the courtroom and everything set up is the press had to be outside of the room. They was able to watch through a little tiny TV, but they were not able to see the videos due to its graphic nature. Now, one thing all throughout the case, they have found they had carts, they had carts and carts and carts full of evidence.
Second gummy was a mistake.
Videos, things that they have found from a locker that belonged to R. Kelly, a storage facility that belonged to R. Kelly. They have found this stuff, and at the time, it just seemed like it was so much evidence. It was just it's gonna take forever to go through and review this stuff. Yeah. But one thing in almost all of the women and the witnesses' story is that they know that he was recording everything on his iPad. So I was asking Mobius, so where does your iPad stuff go? Like, it just go to the cloud, or like, it seems like maybe he was backing this information up somewhere. Because to me, if it's on the cloud, I mean, unless they seize the information from Apple, which I thought Apple, like, at least was better than Sprint and trying to, like, keep this information to ourselves. Like, you know, you can't have this information type shit. But yeah, he must have backed this shit up somewhere else, because somehow either they found the actual iPad or whatever. They had a video of your boy, and it wasn't a very flattering video. Let me just say that. So even though, you know, they couldn't watch the video, one of the things they said in the video, he was yelling at the girl, he was threatening the girl, and then all you heard was, psst. And I know that shit probably sounds stupid with me trying to do it over the mic, but it was the sound of urination. And he kept telling the girl, close your eyes, while he peed on her face. And told her to like it and enjoy it. And that she better be smiling and all this wild shit. So here's my whole thing about all the R. Kelly fans who was like, oh my gosh, he free. He didn't do it. It's okay. Or they was saying shit like, he just a little freaky. There's nothing wrong with being freaky. Okay, listen. It's only okay to pee on somebody if they want to be peed on. Come on, young. It's not okay to be in a relationship and manipulate somebody into doing something that you want them to do that they don't enjoy. That shit is not okay. Turning people out is not okay. And that's that one very dangerous thing that if you know anything about real pimping, when you turn somebody out, it's not that I'm just putting you on to something. No. You wasn't into it. And now either I'm going to make you into it or I'm going to force you to act like you're into it. And so that shit can be extremely traumatizing. Like, I'm not with that shit at all. Again, if you want to be freaky, you want to be nasty, as long as it's consensual. But that was the big issue. It didn't seem consensual.
Fuck that guy.
Nope.
And so, you know, it was a lot of ups and downs with the stories. Why y'all was still with him and all of that shit. I don't want to get into none of that, but I'm not with that shit. At the end of the day, if you didn't believe none of the 12 or 14 witnesses that came up there, and 2 of them was men that said R. Kelly was sexually assaulting them, and one of them said he was underage when it started. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Awesome sauce.
come on. If you didn't believe nothing that none of them people who testified said, you gotta believe that motherfucking video. And then, so another thing that I found out was when he got charged a few years ago with the sex tape with pissing on Sparkle, the only reason why that was thrown out, it wasn't because he said it wasn't him, it was his brother. That shit got thrown out because somebody tipped him off and the police ran into his house and seized the video of him pissing on that girl while she was underage illegally. They ran up in there with no warrants. That's the only reason why he got off that case a few years ago.
Which is bullshit.
I still got you in the video. I still know it's you that did that shit. But you get to get off now because we illegally got proof. Man, listen. He gotta have some information on some type of famous people or something, because y'all motherfuckers just let this shit happen, bro. You got friends, you got family, you got so many people around in that situation. Y'all knew what the hell he was doing. And y'all just turned a blind eye and let it happen. So, anyway.
Over years, though. Over the course of years.
Over 25 years, bruh. Over 25 years he been doing this shit, bruh. Because the first one we know about, or the youngest one, or the only one that I was old enough to comprehend was Aaliyah.
Just sit here a minute.
And she was 14 years old. And there was a witness that said they saw him having sex with Aaliyah when she was like 13. And he had ended up actually getting her pregnant. And so, you know, that was There was a whole bunch of shit going on in the case that was like cementing, even though she's not alive to testify for herself. There was a whole lot of people there who testified that they were a part of him and seeing him with Aaliyah and doing inappropriate things. So, anyway, you know, talking about people getting off on shit that they ain't got no business getting off on. That's just rich people shit. That's all I can say. That's just rich people shit. That's what fame do. You know what I'm saying? Because on the flip side, we got black men walking down the street rapping and getting locked up.